Hi, I'm Harry Forbes here at the 2019 ARC Advisory Group Forum in Orlando. My guest today is Raja Banerji. Raja is the Global Head of Industry Marketing for Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. Welcome, Raja, to the forum.
Thanks for having us, Harry. Always good to be here.
It's nice to have you here. You know, consultancies, especially major consultancies like TCS, we don't think of them as needing marketing. You know, you're not making a product, you're really delivering some very advanced services. Can you tell me what the role of marketing is in an organization like that?
Sure, thank you. Great first question. So Harry, I manage and lead transformational marketing initiatives for 13 industry units within TCS, with the primary aim of incubating best practices in marketing, nurturing sustainability, and delivering brand success with defined measurability. I think the primary objective or the primary goal of marketing, as I see it, is to elevate the TCS brand as a growth and transformation partner for our clients and our customers. And the way you conduit that is via what we call the AAA strategy, enhancing the awareness, articulation, and amplification of our success stories, upping the ante on contextual knowledge so that we can deliver superior customer experience, and delivering tangible business value. So all of this really requires creation of a comprehensive design strategy encompassing thought leadership, value messaging, leveraging media, content, digital initiatives, innovation forums, analyst relations, work with academia in order to try and propel that value proposition. So that, in a nutshell, is the construct of my role.
And that's much different than in the past, I would take it.
Yeah, you know, the rise of digital technologies has really upended the entire landscape of industries, consumers, and customers, right? And while it has upended that landscape, it has also created tremendous opportunities to redefine almost every piece of business. So it is this wave of transformation that we coin as Business 4.0. It's a consortium of technologies encompassing automation, cloud, robotics, and artificial intelligence. And this stack of technology is being leveraged not just for technological efficiencies by our clients and various other organizations, but really to drive critical business behaviors, typically four, right? Driving mass personalization, leveraging the ecosystem, creating exponential value, and embracing risk. So if you really ask me what is the fundamental difference in marketing today vis-a-vis the past, in my opinion, it's really how do you embed the concept of marketing in this value framework of Business 4.0. So as organizations become more agile adopting these technologies, marketing also has to take the same route. So I think that's the first fundamental change. I also think there's been a tectonic shift in the way marketers have been communicating, promoting, and advertising themselves from the past, right? Moving into the strategic storytelling versus the tactical. And the third fundamental change that I notice, and that's what gets us a seat at the table on a strategic basis, is really the ability to align with business stakeholders, understanding the business priorities so that we can index marketing strategies to those business priorities, working with our domain and subject matter experts to procure intellectual capital, and for marketing now to go inside out and procure and leverage assets so that we can serve the business need. So yeah, significant change. Are we there yet? No. I think we're on the right track.
Well, you mentioned having more than a dozen vertical industries that you serve and are targeting. They're diverse, certainly but there must be some underlying commonalities. Can you talk about some of the highlights that you see in those industries and some of the high points for TCS?
Absolutely. I think when all is said and done, I use the terminology of AAA, right? It's important that we get an opportunity to be aware of the great work that we are doing. We should be in a position to articulate the stories that we are working on, and also amplify the impact of messaging on society, consumers, and stakeholders. So if you take a look at the AAA strategy, I'll take a few initiatives that may have resonance. Let's take events, for example. How do we embed the AAA strategy via events? So we participate in a number of industry forums, marquee events, this being one of them, right? You take a look at the DIA event for life sciences, or the pharma industry. Take a look at MWC for the telecom industry, NRF for retail, NASCO for healthcare. So, you know, there are examples across all the industries that we participate in for events. Account-based marketing is a huge focus for us to propel client engagement and personalization. Not just account-focused marketing, Harry, but I think the entire value chain of how do you add marketing value to an account from end to end, right? It's an institutionalized framework. Business 4.0, a lot of focus on content curation, right? Specific content curation. Work with analysts, such as yourselves, not just for ink spots, but for collaborative thought leadership, and also with academia. We partner with a number of premier institutes across the country, in fact, across the globe, in order to propel our thought leadership. Some other bells and whistles, which I'm sure you're familiar with, the New York Marathon, for example. We invest very heavily in marathons all across the globe. In fact, it's interesting that the New York Marathon is now considered the most digital marathon in the entire world, 1.5 billion media impressions. You talk about the Amsterdam Marathon, the Bangalore and Mumbai Marathon, the Australia Running Festival. So once again, key highlights of our AAA strategy. The second thing that or the third thing I wanted to mention was the fact that we host a number of innovation forums, thereby creating confluence of thought leadership platforms for clients, prospects, TCS leadership.
Can you talk maybe about some of the major impacts that you see? And I'm more interested in the manufacturing space and the manufacturing verticals that you're serving.
Yeah, I think overall, Harry, if I was to list the impact that we are creating via these initiatives, it's primarily twofold. One is on the brand lift, right? So if you look at what Brands Finance just came out with, we're in the top 3 IT services brands with over $10 billion in value, right? Number 58 in terms of the top brands in America. If you look at Forbes Global 2000 list and the top employers list, right? We are also now in almost every region of the world, we are one of the top employers, right? In fact, as recent as Jan 31st, we came out with the Top Employers Institute came out with this report on TCS being the #1 employer in Canada and North America for 5 years in a row. Now, I think #1 in America and one of the top for Canada. You take a look at Europe, 5 years in a row, we've had the #1 rating for customer satisfaction. So on and on and on. On the relationship front, whether it's manufacturing or other businesses, Harry, we are taking a look at the impact of relationship management. Primarily, how do we enhance client engagement with customized campaigns, with welcome booklets, with one-on-one profiling, customer messaging, right? When I talked about the Business 4.0 framework of the 4 attributes, how do I go ahead and enable risk? How do I go ahead and create an aggregate line of business as a marketer? How do I enable sales? How do I leverage the overall markets and leverage that ecosystem? So that's on the relationship side. On the revenue enablement side, it's still a work in progress. We're just kicking it off. Deal-based assets. I think we're doing a significant amount of work in deal-based assets. So I don't know if it's a manufacturing-specific response, but what I just shared with you in terms of brand lifts and the RRR strategy, I think that applies. And in fact, for the manufacturing business as well as for the other practices, I call it the MVP model, the messaging, the validation, and the positioning, right? How do I message my value proposition better? How do I validate my success stories better? And how do I position them better by amplifying them? So,
Raja, let me interrupt you for just a second to ask about kind of the challenges that you see and the opportunities that you see going forward in the next couple of years.
Sure, thank you. I think I see a threefold challenge. I think first and foremost is the opportunity. It's an opportunity, but also challenges.
They're always the flip side of each other.
Absolutely. How does marketing move from the tactical storytelling to the strategic storytelling, right? Especially in light of the changing business environment. The second challenge is marketers have always been in silos versus being immersive with business, right? I think we need to propagate ourselves better, brand ourselves better to be procuring a seat at the business table, right? And the third challenge is how do I quantify the value add of marketing, right? So if you look at the flip side of opportunity, Harry, how do I articulate and amplify the very best of my business 4.0 value proposition? How do I contextualize and customize the value proposition that I bring to my customers, right? And above all, in order for us, I use the word nurturing, sustainability, and incubating best practices. How do I institutionalize an operational framework in order for me to continue to incubate and nurture these best practices? So somewhat hand in hand, that's how we see it. But very exciting times, very different from what we used to do in the past, from moving from a tactical to a very strategic storytelling.
I can see that it impacts the business and your deliverables in very very marketable or very meaningful ways.
Sure, sure.
Well, thank you very much for being with us. It's been a pleasure to have you here this week, and we really appreciate you coming.
Thanks for the opportunity, Harry. Good to be here.
My guest has been Raja Banerji. He is the Global Head of Industry Marketing for Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. Thank you for watching.